Yesterday we had a little bit of trouble on board game night. A couple of my good buddies came over and we had a board game night. Now my collection of board games down here is just a very minuscule thing compared to the huge mountain of board games that's in my brother's basement. It seemed that whenever we played games, his was the location that we turned to, but he brought a game down into my basement and we played a game called Mage Knight, and it was a very super long, super complicated, very interesting, in-depth game that had like 1 billion pieces, 1.5 billion rules, and after 2 playthroughs we kind of got the hang of it. It took a little bit. After we learned the difference between a round and a turn, the game got a lot better because there were some powers that you could use once a round and once a turn, and if you get those mixed up, oh my gosh, the game kind of gets out of whack in a hurry. But one thing that I've noticed, and I've loved board games, I've always loved board games, I always will love board games. There are games, and 2 of them kind of popped into my head like an epiphany after the trouble that we had yesterday with the board games. What happens with these big, giant, elaborate, super awesome fantasy, holy cow, lose yourself in a different world board game is usually what happens is kind of like in life. Some people excel and are doing really well and are fighting the dragons, getting the treasure, making the mad loots, and other players are kind of they don't really do anything. They're like kind of in the shadow of the guys that are winning the game, and that's really kind of a bummer. But then I had to think back to Risk and to Monopoly. I mean, talk about finality. When your money is all gone in Monopoly, you're out of the game. When all your pieces are conquered and dead in Risk, you're out of the game. And I think that might be the way to go. At least that's final and fair. You know, like after you lose all your money in Monopoly, you pack up, wish the people that got all the money best of luck, shake their hands, and plug in a Nintendo game and play Nintendo until they finish. Risk, once your final army is killed on Kamachka, you know, you shake the hand of the guy that killed you, and play a game of Angry Birds on your cell phone, whatever. But the thing is, in these board games today, what I see is a long, painful, drawn-out experience for many players. Some of these board games take 6, 7, 8 hours. I mean, they're just crazy, crazy long, and once you kind of get behind, there's no way sometimes for you really to catch up. And I think that's unfortunate. And if I ever am going to build one of those super, super epic board games, I'm definitely for sure going to have a way that people that are losing the game can still be competitive and still have a chance at winning. Because usually I can tell in the first 5 or 6 turns of a board game who's going to win with incredible accuracy. And one of these times I'd like to be wrong. So back to the drawing board when it comes to board games.